Right, there's a quick walk around video for a Lexus IS 250 SE model. You can see here finished in black with a lovely, I think it's called Oakham beige interior, but I stand corrected on that one. Car's in very nice condition, just 54,000 miles, lovely history to the car. Just go around the car for you and try and avoid getting my shadow in the way of everything. Front end of the car, lights, lenses, all good and intact, no cracks, condensation otherwise on those. Front bumpers in generally very good order, with any marks are very light indeed. Bonnet of the car, for a black one, very good, only minor stone chips to be found on the car, but it's very clean. So there will be one or two. Black cars are wonderful, but little marks they will show, but this one, as I said, is very nice indeed. Coming down the near side of the car, panel work is pretty much mirror smooth, can't see any indentations in there at all. Front wing, very clean and tight as you can see. Tyres have got absolutely tons of tread, they're matched all around and virtually as new. Alloy here, generally good, just a bit of curbing on the outside of it, which you tend to get on the near side of cars in all honesty. Panel work, as you can see there, it's all very nice. I haven't machine polished it, I haven't black polished it, I haven't done anything to this car. I don't like machine polishing them because I'm rubbish at it in all honesty. It doesn't really need doing, but if you want to get rid of the tiniest little marks, then you could do that. Rear alloy, again, very good, just as with the front, just a tiny bit of curbing on the outside edge there. And just to come down here, just see just how crisp and clean that panel work actually is. Coming around the back of the car, rear bumper, very clean and tidy, again only minor marking on it. Rear parking sensors have been fitted to this car and they work perfectly well, which actually goes alongside the parking camera, which is obviously standard fitment on these multimedia pack cars. Again, panel work on this side, very clean and crisp, so I'll try and get the angle better for you. Rear alloy on this side, very good indeed, just again minor marking and lack of lift which you get on this age of vehicle. So just turn the camera around that way because the sun is lovely to see, but it plays havoc when you're doing the videos. And then as you can see down there, it's all very clean and crisp. And finally, front alloy. Mark on one of the spokes here you can see quite clearly. I said if I was going to be mega critical of the car, and most people would think, you know, I wouldn't do anything about them until I'd really put some marks on them. You know, if you're really fussy, you might want to get the alloys refurbished, because the paintwork is in super order. But you know, I think it's a lovely original car, and we don't like touching them when they're like that. Let's come into the interior of the car now. Offside rear door card looks pretty much as new in all honesty. Interior is in really very nice condition. Full set of original Lexus overmats fitted to the car. Back of the rear front seats there, not always a given. They're in very nice condition, not been kicked, battered or otherwise, as with the little vented areas there. Quite often you find sort of kids' feet have played merry hell with them. The inside door card, again, lovely condition. And the leatherwork is really nice indeed. Sorry for my finger in the way there. I parked it in the shade here because it's a bright sunny day. I don't want to get all the lights on. But it's very nice. So coming to the front of the car now, driver's door card, again, very nice indeed, showing only minuscule amounts of wear, but really nice. Obviously, full set of mats as you know. Obviously, goes all the way to the front. Driver's seat, in fabulous condition, very little wear in it. They are very hard wearing, quite beautifully built cars, really are. And front passenger seat, again, in super order. So inside the car now, engine's running as it has been all the way through. Just a pan across, and it's a lovely interior. They are just beautifully built cars. But this two-tone Oakham beige is a lovely interior. It just really makes the car feel warm and nice inside. As you can see here, multimedia pack. So you've got this. So I'll just turn the fan down because it's interfering slightly with the. Put on low so it's not so loud. And back to that. Do apologise. Right then. So. Say sat nav all fully functional, air conditioning pumping out lovely cold air, but it's just a breath of fresh air to know that, you know, you've got an interior here which is so well built, but just so easy to operate. When I pop the car in reverse, by the way, you've got parking sensors, which you probably heard beep, but also that lovely parking camera with its little grid there for helping you park into spots. Coming further down, Mark Levinson stereo, and it's an astonishing sound unit. It really is wonderful. And over the top there, hopefully you can see, you've got the air conditioned and heated seats, and they work absolutely perfectly. Checked those this morning, but as I said, it's all very nice. Just, you know, tiny little marks, which I mentioned on the video there. Later in the video, just got a couple of little marks on the silver where someone's just tapped it, which could be touched in, but we don't like to do it. We just like to leave it as original as possible. And then coming further across, we've got obviously push button start, and down there you can turn your traction control off if you so wish, and you can put it into sort of different settings for the gearbox as well. Paddle shift on the steering wheel. Steering wheel looks and feels pretty much as new, in all honesty. Obviously auto lights and auto wipers on the spec car, and if I pan into the dashboard there, you can see 54,735 miles, and absolutely no warning lights displayed on this vehicle at all. But it really, really, really is in fabulous, fabulous order. Also, just quickly show you, full complement of owner's manuals, lock and wheel nut keys there as well. Can be quite frustrating when you pick up a car, find out you've got no manual for the car, and lock and wheel nut keys obviously essential. It's finally just come under the engine bay, beautifully, beautifully presented as you'd expect from Lexus. Wonderful units. By the way, the engines always sound much noisier on the videos than they do when you're physically stood here. Very long-lasting engines, you know, but just so nice in operation. What should follow this video now, or what will follow this video now, will be a road test of this very car. Right, this is a quick road test video for a Lexus IS 250 SE. This one's registered KH57GKU, so I'll just check that is HKU. GKU, sorry. Mileage at the start of this brief road test is 54,729 miles. Reason for the road tests is, as I say in all of them, it's very simple. We want our customers to see the cars we're selling in operation prior to coming to see us. That way we can do a critical video of the car and relay any issues back to you about the vehicle that you should know about prior to coming to see us. The fact is that the internet means that people are willing to travel a lot further now to come see cars, and it can be very frustrating when you go and see one just to find out that there's an obvious issue with the car which the garage should have told you about. It's something that we don't want our customers to sort of suffer from. As I said in the videos, if there is something amiss on the car, I do tell you. If there's any warning lights on, any knocks, bangs, anything untoward, then I will mention them, and I have done in previous videos. If I don't mention it, it doesn't mean there's any, I'm hiding anything. That's not what we do. Road tests are also done on the roads just outside our premises, so should be wholly representative, hopefully, of what you should feel when you come and see and drive the car. So coming to the car itself. Starting with the mechanicals of the car, of course. Engine, push button starts immediately, settles to a very even, subdued idle, as you'd expect from a Lexus V6. There's absolutely no warning lights on the dashboard relating to the engine or any other part of the car for that matter either. Engine is classic Lexus V6, very sweet revving. It's a perfect match for the gearbox, but more of that in due course. It's got a lovely power delivery, very, very, very smooth indeed, of course, and very, very quiet on the move. But as an example of one, it's absolutely spot on. It really, really is. Temperature gauge, incidentally, running at just under half, which is exactly where you'd want it to be on a Lexus car. Engine then feeds through to the Lexus automatic gearbox, and I can't detect an ounce of wear in it. It just picks up, goes. It's very smooth when pulling away. There's no juddering, there's no delays when you put it from neutral into drive or into reverse, which is obviously a static test you should do on all automatic cars to see if there's any wear, but there's nothing in this one at all. As I said or implied, the engine and gearbox are such a good match. Quite often manufacturers, for emissions reasons and tax reasons, they're tempted to put in small capacity engines, but they can be just, yeah, they're perfectly adequate, and they're, you know, kind of static MPG figures are good, but on the move they don't deliver those MPGs because you've got to work the engines so much harder. And what's very hard to get across is just how relaxing an engine of this size is in the car this size. The engine isn't having to work hard, the gearbox isn't having to hunt up and down the gears. It's just an ideal match for one another. Absolutely superb. Car tracks bullet straight. There's not an ounce of there's no vibration at all coming through the steering wheel of the car. So it tracks straight and true, doesn't tramline in any way at all. Equally, there is no wear in the steering. It's just immediate. It doesn't feel as though it's turned a wheel. It's got that sharpness, tightness about it, which I love. It makes the car feel solid, which is really important on one of these. Likewise with the suspension of the car, what I'm looking at for on test drive is, you know, they're very, very smooth riding and very quiet riding as well. So if there was an issue with the car, it would manifest itself very quickly by sort of a few little clonks or bangs coming into the car, usually for things like, you know, drop links, anti-roll bar links, sort of warm bush, maybe you know, like suspension struts with a little bit of movement, which would probably pass an MOT. They wouldn't be unsafe, but they just make a lovely, quiet, solid car just feel a bit old and tired. Ones that have been driven around sort of city centres all their life can exhibit that. Even Lexus can't get away with it. But this is absolutely perfect. It's got there's no noises coming through it. It feels as tight as a drum driving the car. It really, really feels fantastic. Brakes on the car, lovely solid brake pedal, no pulsing, no vibrations, which obviously suggests, there you are, had to give them a good old thump. So none of the kind of sort of grumblings or anything underneath, but when you hit the brake pedal, the car squats down straight and true on the front. It's not got any kind of, doesn't sort of lurch or pull to one side or the other. And obviously that suggests that pads and discs are all in very, very fine order indeed. Obviously it's going to go through a pre-delivery inspection anyway. Also, whilst driving along, just listening out for noises that shouldn't be there. Sometimes if you've got a, you know, they're so quiet. I mean, it really is a fabulously refined car. But if you had a, you know, a windscreen replaced and it was badly fitted, or someone had accidentally skagged a door seal, you end up with a really annoying wind hiss on what is essentially, as I said, an astonishingly quiet car. It would ruin it, but it's exactly as it should be. Looking around inside the car, lovely places to sit. Perfect driving position, straight ahead, no silly nonsense with your legs pointing in one direction, your hands in another. Very easy to get comfortable. Obviously electric adjustable seats with multi, you know, direction changes on that. Obviously the heated and air conditioned seats, all works absolutely perfectly. The interior I love. It's, you know, I wasn't always a great fan of sort of these lighter two-tone interiors on cars, maybe because some were so kind of odd and garish, but these are a lovely warm place to sit. Black can be really nice, but it can be a little bit oppressive, especially on sort of dark winter days. Just feels cold getting into them. These just have that really lovely warmth about them, and they are astonishingly well made. There's not even a hint of a squeak or a creak or a rattle, and this is true build quality. This isn't 2 or 3 years old, fresh from the showroom. This is, you know, what, nearly 10 years down the line, and even though it's done low mileage, you'd expect it to show kind of, or feel like it's worn inside. It doesn't. It just feels rock solid. Looking around inside, as you can clearly see from the video screen there, you've got the you know, this one's equipped with the multimedia pack, which is a lovely pack and very expensive as well, by the way. So you get this big screen sat nav system. When you pop it into reverse, that goes into a lovely clear parking camera as well. As part of that, you also get the Mark Levinson stereo, which has got an amazing sound quality to it. It really has. But it's all in really nice orders. Only sort of minor signs of wear and tear inside the car, which you know, I'd hope to expect to see on any car of this age. There's a tiny bit of paint being rubbed away by something accidentally there. It hasn't been cleaned or valeted yet, so obviously it's going to be freshened up. It doesn't really need a lot, because it's so nice anyway. Main binnacle, I love. Typical, very classy Lexus dials. So simple and easy to read. You can simulate the information really nicely and easily. All the pixelation on all the displays, absolutely perfect. On top of the steering wheel here, we've got the paddle shift for the if you want to operate the gearbox in manual mode, but they've got a nice quality feel to them, not these nasty plastic things you get on, they may well be plastic, but they don't feel it. That's the odd thing about these. They feel very high quality. Steering wheel feels new in my hand, and as part of the multimedia package you get hands-free telephone as well, obviously for compatible phones. Cruise control works absolutely perfectly, as in fact as every switch I've pressed thus far on the car, and it all works in fabulous order. Getting back to the car itself, naturally, other cars on the shopping list will, normally your sort of C-Class, 3 Series and A-Class, as I say in all the IS videos. But I think this just beats them all. If you want a car that's going to be, utterly faithful and reliable, very, very smooth and quiet. It doesn't jar in any way, shape or form when you drive it. But what it isn't is dull and boring. I think A4s are just completely one-dimensional cars. I hate to say it, but I don't want to cause offence, but certainly in my opinion, they just, I get bored of them so quickly. They're just a little bit dull in the drive of the car. Just sit past him. These have, I think they've got the nicest compromise of all. You've got, it's a chassis that's got quick steering, it's agile, it's smooth and quick through the corners. It's not as sporty as a 3 Series, but it's damn sight more comfortable than it really is. But what it is over and above all of those is miles better in terms of reliability. They are much. It's not to say they don't ever have problems. Of course they do. It's a car, but they're very, very few and far between. Whereas on the others, unfortunately, far too frequent. Unfortunately, in our experience. But anyway, I can't fault the car. I said not for want of trying. But clearly, if I've missed anything on the video, please don't hesitate. Give me a call, and obviously we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about this particular car.